Welcome, viewers. Thank you for joining us on this day as I am joined with a very, very special guest who is oozing with knowledge, with wisdom, with nuggets that I know you and me will carry off enriched in understanding. So today I am joined with Bridget. I am going to give you a moment to introduce herself to you guys. She's going to tell us who she is, where she comes from, what her career is, what she loves, and what she enjoys doing.
Hi, my name is Bridget Wren, and I've been in the field of education for many, many, many years. And I currently work with children with learning difficulties, particularly dyslexia, dyscalculia, uh, hyperactivity, and that sort of thing. Um, and I've been doing this for many, many years. And I'm a mom. I have 2 children and 2 grandchildren, and this is my life.
Wow, wow. We are really, really drooling to hear from you, Bridget. 2 children, 2 grandchildren, and a career life which has been so many years. Thank you so much for joining us. We are
Pleasure.
honored to have you on this platform. Thank you for taking your time to come and share with us your knowledge that you've acquired, and also enlighten us on how we can do better as human beings. You know, we fail in so many ways. Just to kickstart, why did you choose to work with students with disabilities?
I think I was in a teaching career, and so many years ago when I was teaching, one of my parents of this children I was teaching came to me and she said, I need you to come and listen to this talk of this
Okay.
person. And I was so irritated, I didn't feel like going out on a school night to listen
To
to
go
this
and
person.
listen.
And I went just to stop her from nagging me.
Okay.
And it changed my life.
Wow.
And I decided this is what I wanted to do.
Wow.
And I trained with the National Institute for Learning Development called
Okay.
NILD.
Okay.
It's a US-based organization. And I did my first training, and then I did my second training in America and my
Okay.
level 3 in Kansas City.
Wow.
And eventually I started lecturing for them and ran NILD in South Africa for about 15, 16 years.
Okay.
And then decided that I wanted to work with children in a little school environment and try and get them emotionally and stronger, and then teach them for a few years and then put them back into the mainstream. And that's what I did. I started doing that. And then
Okay.
that became so overwhelming that I stepped down as the leadership of NILD and followed this career.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
I sometimes still lecture, particularly in Zimbabwe,
Okay.
for them. I was there last month.
Wow.
But you know, I've trained people here, India, Mozambique, all sorts of places around the world.
Wow, wow, wow. So what really drew you in? What touched your heart that night?
You know what? I think it's what she was saying just sounded so amazing that we can help these children. And I think that if you have a child with a learning disability, whether it's a special needs child or just a plain dyslexia, or the whole family is impacted.
Okay.
You have to advocate for your child. You have to try and, those children often get up in the morning, they hate school because they feel like they're stupid and they're not.
Okay.
And they go into school and school is so difficult for them. And then they come home again and mom has to put plasters on and help this child and push it back into that, or him back into that environment. And I think that my heart goes out to these people. You know, I have a passion for those that are hurting. And I think that parents and the children are hurting so badly. And it's tough. It's tough on parents.
Yes, yes. So it's that pain that drew you closer
Yes.
to them to say, I want to help here.
Yes.
Wow. And you've done a phenomenal job.
Oh, thank you.
You've done a phenomenal job, because I'm thinking it has been years and you have advocated for them. You have gone into the industry and taught how to take them in. You said you specialize in hypersensitivity. What
Well,
else?
basically, the children that I'm working with are on the spectrum
Okay.
or dyslexic. Often there's comorbidities, so they got, you know, 2 things going on at the same time.
Okay.
So my passion is the dyslexic child, and then of course the ADHD children, those with hyperactivity.
Okay,
My grandson is dreadfully hyperactive. And the maths disability, which is called dyscalculia.
All right. Will you explain for us a little bit this and this and this? The
Yes.
child will be like this, and the child, so that at least we can get a
Yes,
little
so
bit of understanding.
so your child with dyslexia is usually a bright child.
Okay.
Okay, and often their language, their verbal ability is very strong.
Okay.
But the pathway in the brain that gets to the reading center of the brain goes in a different direction. And these children really struggle to rhyme, they struggle to read, they struggle to spell. Their handwriting is often poor.
Okay.
But really it's to do with reading and spelling. And they can't get it out. They can't, often their spelling is bizarre. And you think, why have you put a letter like an L in the middle of nowhere? And,
Okay.
and they have what we call phonological awareness issues, where they can't manipulate sounds. So if I say book and change the b to a they can't do that. And that has to do with working memory and a whole lot of things
Okay.
that affects these children.
Wow.
Look, we can have a general reading disability,
Okay.
and they all look pretty much the same. But your child with dyslexia is usually average to above average in intelligence, and it has nothing to do with intelligence.
Okay.
It has to do with the way the brain is wired.
All right.
And the same for mathematics. Now, with mathematics, often there's been a lot more research on reading over the years than on mathematics.
Okay.
But with mathematics in the last 30 years or so, there's been a swift change in the research on mathematics.
Okay.
And these children really, really struggle. For instance, many children and many adults have a maths anxiety. And often that comes from poor teaching, perhaps in the schools, because often the teacher might have a maths anxiety.
Right.
And that goes on to the children. But these children really struggle. They struggle to remember maths facts. They struggle with all aspects of mathematics. And they really just can't do it.
Oh, shame, man. And tell me, you said when they are writing, sometimes they mess up the spellings. Now, if they are to read it back themselves, because he's the one who has written it, would they be able to read what they've written?
Sometimes yes, and sometimes no.
Okay.
Often, when you've been working with children, especially with younger children, teachers that have worked with this foundation phase children, they get used to these bizarre spellings, and they can often read the things that the children have written.
That they're trying to say.
But I will, if I'm not sure, I'll say to the child, what is it that you've put here? But often their spelling can be very phonetic as well. So the spell was W-O-Z. So you can read it.
Okay.
But it's all spelt incorrectly. And it depends on whether they've got a phonics or phonemic awareness issue or what we call an orthographic issue.
Okay.
And that's got to do with remembering. So with an orthographic memory issue, you'll find that the children will have all the letters there, but all in the wrong place.
Okay.
So they will spell, the word right, R-I-G-H-T, they'll spell R-I-H-G-T. So they're all there, but in the wrong place.
Okay.
So
misplaced.
they struggle with the strings of letters that go together.
Okay.
Whereas your children that had phonemic awareness issues, their spelling is very phonetically. You can see their spelling.
Okay. So how do you help them? This is so intriguing for me. You are explaining the problems that they are facing, like you really understand them. Is there a time when you can really say, this one is now good?
It takes a long time.
Okay.
If there's a program out there that says, I'm going to fix your child in 6 months, run. Because the child was born that way and they've struggled. So with us, with our intervention, usually 3 years or longer to work intensively with those children. And again, everything depends on the child or the student, because no two children are alike. So sometimes you can go faster with certain children and sometimes you have to go slowly. But with all of them, we've got to go right back to the basics and start right at the basics, because we do not want to give them floaties or armbands to teach them to swim. We want to teach them to swim, to become independent learners. And it takes quite a while.
Wow. We are learning a lot. I am learning a lot here, a lot of things that I didn't even know about. Sometimes, as people, we look at these children, sometimes grown into adults, and we are very, very judgmental.
Yes.
What word of advice can you give us?
I think the thing is, it's because it's become more known, dyslexia has become more known, and more famous people and actors and like Richard Branson
Yes.
have come out and said, they're dyslexic. I mean, he said if he hadn't dropped out of school, which he did, he didn't go to university because he was struggling so with his dyslexia.
Okay.
But he became an entrepreneur, and he's one of the richest men
In the
in the world. So that was to his advantage, because our dyslexic people are, as I said, very bright, very creative. They think outside of the box.
Wow.
And as adults, they learn. So a lot of people, as an adult with dyslexia, need to be able to advocate for themselves.
Okay.
And you have secretaries these days that can do, if it's that bad, they can write for you and have not spell checkers, I don't believe greatly in spell checkers, because sometimes they cannot pick up the word that you're trying to say.
Yes, it's true.
But they are a little bit more helpful. But I think that there's a lot of understanding now in the workplace, a lot more
is good.
empathy, understanding, and acceptance
Which is
of people
good.
with
Which is good, with
dyslexia, because they are creative.
Okay. You also mentioned ADHD.
HD, yes. Yeah, that's your
Take us
attention
deeper into that
deficit
one. Yes.
hyper, and all of these things are genetic.
They are genetic.
So if you find, often like with my grandson, you look at his father's extremely hyperactive,
Okay.
and so is his granny, and so is his mom a little bit. So these children, they are constantly in motion.
All right.
They never stop. They often immature.
Okay.
It's also the way that their brain works, and so they struggle to stay focused. So everything distracts them.
Okay.
These thoughts get distracted, and so they're always behind. Then they forget their things.
So that's why they call it attention deficit.
Yes, which is actually a misnomer. Is that they pay attention to everything. It's not that they don't pay attention to nothing. Why they've called it that, I have no idea.
So they're paying attention to everything, and they want to be involved in everything.
Yes.
And they are energetic. They've got
yes.
the energy to be involved in everything.
Yes. And often their friendships are with older children or younger children. They often don't make the connections between, for instance, it depends on the age of the child. You remember, our brain is developing, and the frontal lobe of our brain really only myelinizes by the time we're 20, 25 years old, where we can make proper decision making, and because this is the decision making part of our brain, and the one that can regulate our emotions and our decision making. So these children are extremely impulsive. So the first thing, we call them OTM, on the mind, out the mouth. It just comes
On
out.
the mouth, out the mouth, immediately.
I speak before I think. So they're delightful children, but they're always in trouble.
Always.
Always into the, because they're not following the norm. They take forever to get ready.
I think they can't even sit still. They're always itchy. They just want to do something.
Yes. Wow. Look, as they get older and you become adults, that movement might necessarily disappear, but that movement goes in the brain. And so it's still there. And so, some of these children go onto medication to help them to focus.
Okay.
Because what happens if you're not focusing in class, you're going to miss out on a lot of the information, and you're going to struggle. Now, taking the medication just as an example to help you focus, because some people get confused. They think that if a child is struggling, because you can have a learning disability and have an attention problem, both of them.
Okay.
The medication is going to help you with your focusing, but it's not going to take away with your learning problem. And, they're always never finishing their tasks at school. These poor children end up doing hours of homework because they have to finish what they're doing and they have to then do their actual homework.
Okay.
And I think the teachers have to understand when they're working with these children that quality is better than quantity.
Okay.
You know, if the
okay.
child can
You've
demonstrate,
managed
I
to
can do 5 things correctly, don't give me
mm.
50,
Yes.
because they're going to get lost along the way.
All right.
It's
all
very
right,
difficult
all
for them.
All right. Actually, you are taking me to what I wanted to ask you, because I'm thinking first you were explaining to us about
Dyslexia?
Dyslexia. Okay, I'm
Dyslexia.
struggling here. And ADHD students. Now I'm imagining them in a same class. Is it possible to have two different problems?
Oh,
Yes,
all of them.
having in the same class.
All of them.
And how
it's
will you handle?
very difficult for the teachers, especially in our schools that have big numbers.
Yes.
It's very, very difficult to handle them all. And a lot of the children are falling through the cracks because they aren't being helped. You know, in South Africa, we have a lot of underprivileged schools, and the teachers are working really, really hard to help these children. But if there's no extra support, because the school can't afford it, then these children aren't being helped. And it's very, very difficult. There's a lot of good being done out there by non-profit organizations going into our townships
Yes.
to help these children.
Yes.
But in a classroom with 20 kids or 30 kids, you know, if you've got, say, 10 children, at least 3 out of the 10 should have an issue or more.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing these days more and more and more is anxiety.
It's anxiety. Okay.
I don't know why. The children with anxiety issues has just gone through the roof at the moment. And I think it's this just fast-paced world. It is everything that's happening. Parents are struggling, and these anxiety levels are high. There's so many children, even at the school I'm at, that are there because of anxiety.
Anxiety. And how best can we calm them down? I'm thinking with the fast-paced world that we are living in, there is a lot going on. Social media is there, and you know, kids being kids, someone is talking about this, and you want to trend. You also want to be part of it. You also want to feel like you know what you are doing. There is a lot going on, and for a hyperactive child, they want to be involved in everything. How best, or what is the best technique to calm them down?
There isn't a specific technique. If you're thinking of the different, with your ADHD children and with all children,
Okay.
exercise is really important. I think what's happening, a lot of these children's lives are being managed because it's just the school life, and then it's going to soccer, and then it's going to this club and that club, and they manage the entire day that there's no downtime.
Okay.
There's no time for them to play and to relax and to just be who they want to be.
Okay.
And our children often, like our ADHD children, they love to play video games all day because they don't have to speak to anybody. That's just,
Okay,
and
they're
it's
just keeping to
exciting.
themselves, yes.
It's exciting. School's boring for our ADHD children. And our dyslexic kids and all these, there's not enough time for them to relax and to play and to just be calm. Our children need to be bored,
Okay.
not entertained all the time.
They need to,
They
they
need-
need to be bored.
they need
so
to
now
be
when they are
bored.
bored, okay,
Because that's when they become creative.
all
That's when they can,
right.
you know,
they can explore who they are.
Yes.
They bring it out.
yes, instead of
Okay.
just entertaining them all the time.
All right.
But because, you know, if you've got a child with a special need and that are very demanding, as a parent, if you are at home with your child,
Yes.
I mean, they are at you all the time. I'm bored, I'm bored, I'm bored. If I think of my 2 grandchildren, the one that's got the attention problems, as a little boy, my goodness, I was running around trying to, you know, every 2 seconds he wants to do something else.
But you understood the child at
Yes,
least. You
but with
see?
the other child, she was so easy. You know, I'll just give her
Okay.
something to do, and she'd sit
And
and,
then
play.
sitting-
He exhausted me, but I love him to pieces. You know, but yes, it's
Yes, I think that's the beauty of individualism. They come like that. God gives them to us like that, and we love who they are. And there's just so much grace around around them and we
Yes.
just enjoy them.
That's what I tell them. I
Wow.
tell them, that your God chose you for that
Yes, for
mommy and
this.
that
Yes.
daddy. You're the right person in this family, and there's a reason for that. And sometimes it's not easy, and so the parents often need to join support groups because often, the, like the children often feel they're the only one in the class that's struggling,
Okay.
and because they feel that they are stupid, which, as I said, they are not.
They are
Definitely not.
not, yes.
And they don't realize there's others in the class
There
that are just like
is.
them. And same with the parents. That the minute they can share with somebody else
Okay.
that we're in the same boat. What have you done to help your child? Can you advise me? That's what helps the parents a lot. And there's a lot available online these
Okay.
days
Okay.
to help parents.
Wow, that is so good. I was actually going to ask you, how can we help parents up there, out there to be able to handle their children better? Because there are other people who are not aware of such that maybe my child is hyperactive, they've got attention deficiency, something like that. And I see we are concentrating more on children as they are in class, they are learning educationally. I want us to drift a little bit to social and emotional development.
Yes.
How do you foster that social and emotional development into them as they're growing up? Educationally, we are doing our best. In your school, you're doing that side your best. How do we then foster this other side?
I think
for
there's a lot of
such children?
mindfulness happening where we're training children in mindfulness, being
Okay.
aware of their feelings.
Okay.
So if the child is having a meltdown, which
Okay.
we see quite regularly, to be able to go to a calm place, have a place for them to go and sit, breathing techniques, things like that. And then when it comes to the social side, again, we've got to try and help these children because often a child is unaware of the feelings of the people around them.
All right.
And so that's something that we have to develop through maybe play therapy or
Okay.
working with them, modeling,
Okay.
peers, putting them together in peers, trying to help the children. I see a very lot, excuse me, that's not good English. I see a lot of parents these days do not arrange play dates like they used to when my children were little. I
Okay.
think because life is so busy and parents are working.
Okay.
And so outside of school, these children, other than
They
playing
need
with
to
the
have a
children,
social life.
they need to have a social life. And we need to engage and find the right friend for this person so that they can form their friendships.
Okay.
And I think, in the school environment, in the playground, when you're watching the interactions with the children, that's when you can take them and say to them, listen, let's sit down on the mat, let's discuss this. What could you have done? What did he say to offend you? How could you have said that better? And so we try and help these children to socialize
Yes.
in an acceptable manner.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for raising that point. Because I'm thinking of parents now who, because they've realized that their children are like this, they withdraw them. It's like they just keep them locked inside. They became the friend to the child. They became everything that the child needs, of which it becomes draining
no.
and very difficult. They need to be taken out there.
Yes, I think the children need to be more independent. We have a lot of what we call learned helplessness.
Okay.
Because everything's been done for them. And so they can't do it for themselves. And I think that, those parents, we call them helicopter parents.
Helicopter parents, yes.
And
it's
even
wrong.
It's very wrong for these poor children because they've got to learn to stand on their own two feet.
Okay.
And it's really important. And it's important for the parents to understand that their children are not being naughty on purpose. It's the way that their brain is wired. They have a learning difficulty, they have an emotional issue, whatever it is, to try and help them understand. I think mothers particularly have an instinct. And often the mothers will go to the teacher and say, I'm worried about my child, this and this and this is wrong. And the teacher will say, no, your child is fine.
Okay.
But trust the mom's instincts. It
Okay.
often takes the dad a lot longer to accept that there might be an issue with the child. And why that is, I don't know. Because often they think it's a reflection on them, that you think that, I was like that. But it's not.
It's not.
And so often we have to spend a long time walking with the dad to get him to understand that your child needs help. And then at the end of the day, always, when I teach adults, teachers, at the end of the day, it's not your child. So you can walk an extra mile, and if the parents themselves decide, I don't want any help for my child, you have to let go. And that is very hard. When you know there's a child over there, you can help. But the parents don't accept it.
They block you out. Wow. Thank you so much, Bridget. And viewers, I'm sure you are learning as much as I am learning here. Unfortunately, time is not on our side. Time flies when you are enjoying what is going on.
It felt like 5 minutes.
It felt like 5 minutes exactly. So as we are wrapping up, Bridget, what word of advice would you give to them? I'm looking at a scenario where as a teacher, you know what's best for the child. And the parent sometimes might not listen to you. They are listening to what the child is saying. The teacher did this to me, or another student did this to me.
Yes.
And the parent, because they know that their child is a special need child, they are kind of on the side of the child.
Always.
How would you handle that? And you can wrap it up as advice to our viewers.
No, I think that you must trust your child, listen to your child and say, I hear what you're saying, but don't start criticizing the teacher in front of your child. Don't speak badly about the teacher. Whether the teacher's right or wrong, first go and find out, is this the correct story? Because often it isn't. If it is, you can do something about it by going and speaking to the head of department. But first, say to your child, I hear you. I can see that has upset you. And give your child some love, give your child support.
Yes.
But don't criticize the teacher in front of your child, because then they will use that often. And we've had many parents
And
like
they are
that.
very clever, these children.
The children are, and they will use that as manipulation against the teacher. The teachers, we're all human beings. We make mistakes.
Yes.
We lose our temper sometimes. It's just being a person. And if we're in the wrong, come and see us, come and talk to us, say to us, listen, this is what's happening with my child. But always get both sides of the story before you make a decision.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, viewers, for joining us today. You can see she's oozing. She's got so much knowledge, this woman, and so much experience that she has acquired over so many years. Thank you so much, Bridget, for joining us. I feel like there is still a lot that you need to empty. Should we call you for another episode?
You're welcome. Anytime.
Thank you so much, viewers.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Please do share our link with other people who want to learn. Children living with disabilities. We've got a lot to learn. We've got a lot to give. We've got a lot to embrace together. God created us all for a purpose. And thank you for being with us.